I'd like to introduce everyone to today's activities in Reykjavik Open. It's been a very busy day of chess today because we've had the double rounder, which is every chess player's nightmare. When you have two games in one day and you have to start at 9:30, especially on a Sunday, because, well, let's just say Reykjavik's quite famous for its Saturday nights, isn't that fair? Yeah, that's fair to say. But I think most people actually had a sensible night. But it has been a long day yesterday, hasn't it? So it's been really tough. We are exhausted, but we're still here and we're going to give it our best shot.
Yeah, we're going to give it a go.
So it's really heating up now. We've had two games today. So we're going to have a look at round 6 results very quickly. And then round 7, some games still going on in round 7. We do have a clear leader. Only 2 games to go, so getting very exciting point of the tournament. I think to start with, let's have a look at the round 6 results. Yeah,
nothing really shocking.
Quite a fair few draws now, which you're gonna find, really, aren't you, at this stage? Because you've got people of equal strength playing against each other. I mean, if we just go through the round 6 results, the top boards we had. What I would say a rather quick draw on top board actually between Sokolov and Cheparinov.
He played a rather innocent line against the King's Indian.
Yeah, I mean, I know in his last 2 years he's actually lost both his morning games on the double round day. So even though he's come first equal, he's managed to lose both his morning games.
That's
so
right,
I think today he probably thought, right, I'm gonna play it safe, have a lot of coffee, wake up bit by bit, take the draw, and we'll save it for the afternoon and maybe the other 2 rounds. So quite a safe tactic there. Yeah. And then if we look at board 2, where we've got amazing results so forth by Brei, who's having a great tournament, and he's in with great chance for GM Norm. We'll have a look at his rating after the next round.
At round 7, we look at his performance so far.
And he lost to Fabiana, who's playing very well, highest rated, top seed. Board 3, we had what was quite an interesting draw on a dragon between Yuri and Gawain. And this line I've seen Gawain play a number of times. I think he's drawn with Adams and other people, so it seems to be holding up quite well theoretically if you get a chance to look at that game. And then your countryman, Hannes.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Like he played a good game against Navarra. And
well, we're gonna have a quick look at that in a minute, aren't we?
Because people said that in the final position he had to win.
Okay, yeah, I mean, so very interesting. I mean, this is the morning game, Hannes versus David Navarro.
This moment basically is making or breaking his tournament, because if he beats Navarra, I mean,
it's amazing. Yeah, he'd be right in there. Yeah, well, 5 points out of 6 as well.
Yeah.
And well, Yifang has only drew in the morning, so she's on 4.5 out of 6. So she's kind of lurking, isn't she, with intent, shall we say? But she's not excelling as much as she did at Gibraltar. But okay, it's very hard to. But
maybe people are giving her respect. Stefan, he played the exchange French.
Okay, yes.
Even though maybe he got the chances though eventually.
Okay, well, Stefan's obviously a very talented player who maybe doesn't spend a lot of time on his chess, and this is maybe affects his kind of opening. That's probably why he plays. It's a little bit more boring. And okay, Hess. Having a very good tournament. He beat Gretterson, very talented
Icelandic. He's like wiping
kid.
out the Icelandic guys so far.
He is. He's a Viking killer.
Yeah.
So he's just going through them, isn't he? He's just taking them all out. So I mean, he's improved. Seemed to have improved a lot, Robert Hess, recently. Because I'm sure only a couple of years ago he was just 2,500, low 2,500 strength, and I know he's a young guy, so he's obviously. It'd be interesting to see how far he could go in chess. Whether his rating can just keep shooting up and up.
And actually, I don't think there were many upsets in the 6th round, so maybe we should have a look at
sure. Okay, let's move
position
on.
From Steffansson, Navarra.
Okay, so if we move into that game, this is Steffansson, Navarra, and I believe this is the position where they agreed a draw.
Yes, and it was.
It's worth noting, though, isn't it, that Steffansson only had 2 minutes left here. Is that right?
Something like that. So
it's a bit tough, but he is free. He's got 3 pawns against Navarra's 1, which is very strange. But it may be a draw. It may be a draw. I mean, it's a very tough ending. Yeah. But you don't really have many chances to lose this position, do you? I mean,
that's why I was surprised that. You know, I think it's a good lesson for everybody that you know, even if you think you see the continuation, it's better just to play it out if you have no chances to lose. So
sure. I suppose the only danger he's got is if he loses his H pawn, he will, you know, it's renowned in knight and pawn endings that if you're playing against your opponent's past H pawn, it's really hard to stop it. So there's a little bit of danger here. A little bit, not much, but a little bit of danger.
I think he only did it because it was Navarra against somebody else.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah. I think if he's playing either of us two Muppets, he'd probably
slightly psychological.
That's right. Yeah. I'm sure he'd have played on against either of us two. Definitely. But I mean,
yeah. So they're saying that knight h4 here is winning.
So
we didn't really have time to look at it, but king g5. And
now this is
from the quick look we had, it's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed.
The computer said king c6,
which is understandable. You didn't see this move maybe because this is
it's quite counterintuitive to put your king in front of the pawn. So.
And it's very risky as well because you are giving up your knight. So if you have calculated this incorrectly, you could easily end up losing.
Yeah.
And now, so black probably has to take the knight on h4. And the point behind this king maneuver is that white can now play king to d5. Attacking the knight, so his c pawn can maybe roll up the board, and his f pawn. And now probably knight to f6 check, and now king to e6, keep attacking the knight. I think something like knight here would probably just lose to f6.
Yeah, we can play f6. And
so
king g5.
King g5. I guess the board has been seen at home. In the commentary room, we've got a different board up, so it's maybe a bit hard for you guys in the commentary room to follow this. You've no idea what we're talking about here. So we've got a different board up in the commentary room, but that will soon be fixed, folks. So hopefully everyone at home can see this. What we're looking at, or you probably just think we're completely mad if you can't. So, so king g5, and then. Well, logical move.
He has to push the pawn.
Has to push the pawn. And simple plan of queening that pawn. So knight to e8 does cover this pawn and this pawn. And now after knight to e8, let's keep pushing the pawn. c6. And, well, again, if you take on h5, we can go f6, which looks like a win.
Yeah.
So knight c7. And then when we looked at it earlier, we got to around this point. Or should I say Fritz got to around this point. And Fritz wasn't sure if this was winning or not.
Old and slow Fritz. So.
Was it Fritz 5 or something? 5, yeah, right, okay. That's about the same one I used. No wonder we're rubbish. So king d6 and, well, king d6. I mean, white does have the winning chances, but I don't know if it can be saved this or not. So.
That explains why it's the wrong side.
Yeah.
Okay.
The screen resolution changed a bit.
Okay, is it
okay for the people?
Do you want me to just drag it a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. A bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. Okay. Sorry. Like I say, it's been a long day in the office today.
We're good.
Okay. Right. So this could have been a position that Hannes could have reached in his game against Navarro from round 6.
Yeah.
And, well, I don't know. I mean, it's not clear. It's winning to me. I mean,
is it winning?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, let's say he goes. Well, even
I guess knight b5 threatening.
Yeah, or knight e8, even one of these two squares. I'm not sure because you can always try to just cover it. I mean, one knight should be able to cover the bishop's pawn as long as it's not a rook's pawn. So let's just say I go here, check.
But now, no.
King e7.
King e7, knight c7, f6, but knight d5 check. So.
Yeah, here. And I go knight here. And
yeah, even this one.
Maybe.
So okay.
Now, so it's actually with 2 minutes left. You can understand why.
Yeah.
Because
now I can understand.
Because you have to see this knight sacrifice in the first place, and even then, it's one of those positions you don't want to play. You don't want to play with no time because one little slip here, you could lose. You're not.
Of course, we didn't have time to check it. I just heard from other people.
Yeah.
Like chess bomb, the stuff they use on chess dump.
Right. Okay.
But maybe
never heard of it. What did you say? Chess dump.
Chess bomb.
Oh, chess bomb. Okay, chess dump.
Maybe that
was something else you're talking about.
Have a very good depth in its evaluation.
Right. Okay.
So
maybe it was. I mean, it's very hard to tell. If you had a half an hour on the clock, you might find some wins. So
so we understand now.
Okay.
So that was in round 6. So should we have a look at?
Let's move into round 7. So we're going to get up to speed now with today's activities. So now round 7's been a very interesting day. Only 2 more rounds to go. Still a couple of games going on. Now, probably the most important game is a top board game, which I'm watching, and it was a very impressive game by Fabiana against Cheparinov. I mean, Caruana was black, and they're both on 5.5. Only 3 players on 5.5 before this round: Cheparinov, Caruana, and Sokolov. And Caruana managed to win with black, which puts him in a very, very strong position because he's got white tomorrow. I guess it depends what happens on board 3. Now, we're going to have a quick look at that because it was very interesting, Gawain Jones's game, which is still going on. But just quickly, we will have a look at Cheparinov versus Caruana in a minute, because that was a very impressive game. Now, Robert Hess as well, if we get a chance, I think we'll look at this game briefly against Sokolov. I mean, it looked to me like Sokolov was in some serious trouble in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Robert Hess was very close to winning.
Plays some weird-looking moves.
He's played some very strange-looking moves, and well, maybe it's Sokolov just doesn't like these double-round days, does he? You know, I think this is the thing. I think he prefers the slower pace, should we say, so he can enjoy his glass of wine in the evening and you know, a bit more chilled-out kind of pace to the tournament. Okay, Gawain Jones. When I last had a look, he was the one who was pressing against Kryvoruchko. It wasn't clear whether he's going to win or not, so that's going to be very interesting. If Gawain wins that game, he's going to be in a great position. Navarra, 5.5, good position. Bray, another good draw. So let's have a look at Bray, Bjorn's brother. Bjorn unfortunately had a bad result this afternoon, I should say. He hasn't had the best of days, so he's not joining us at the moment. And if you watched the video yesterday, I expect he'd be back in the fetal position at home, won't he?
Yeah, I think so.
So
unfortunately,
I know, probably fetal position in bed, I think. But hopefully,
you sent their best to Bjorn. He's probably watching.
Yeah, probably.
He'll bounce back.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll bounce back. He always bounces back, Bjorn, doesn't he? And he's always smiling anyway. So that's one good thing. Same. He's he's still a good sport. So
should we? Yeah.
Let's have a look. Okay, so Bray, who just drew with a strong Ukrainian player, has great chances of getting a Grandmaster norm here. Now, if we look at his opponents, he's played very strong field, 4 top GMs. His performance rating at the moment is 25.94, but you can count the first opponent if you're going for a GM norm. He played a 19.26 in round 1, I believe is a 21.50 rating, which means at the moment his performance is over 2,600. To get a GM norm, you need to perform over 2,600. And, well, I'd imagine he'd need 1.5 out of 2 to get a GM norm in this tournament.
Yeah, it depends on what they bring the first guy up to. I think it's actually more for the Grandmaster norm.
It might be more, maybe.
I think it's 21.50 for IM norm, maybe more.
Okay, maybe 22.50
so,
even. So, okay.
We'll hear about it, but okay, let's not...
I guess he needs 1.5 out of 2 though. That'd be my prediction with 2 rounds to go. So the pressure's on, and Bray has...
Well, I was going to say, let's not start putting pressure on him.
He's probably not listening to us anyway, so we'll be right. So,
okay, I mean, the best thing is, you know, just to play the 8th round and see what you need to do.
One game at a time. I mean, we're going to have a quick look at his position because he played very interesting today, and he seems to be playing very strong chess at the moment. I mean, he's obviously having a great tournament, and that would be his first Grandmaster norm. And it'd be great to see one of you guys, one of the Icelandic guys, get a norm out of this tournament. So best of luck to him anyway. Okay, so if we go back, other results.
So what's going on? Yifan?
Well, Yifan did this nice tactic against Hannes, but I think Hannes kind of messed things up a bit, to be honest, because I'm sure his position was okay at one stage. Krengis, draw against Kozubov, okay, backland, beat Stefan, Helikas, Adam, and then any more upsets as we go down? Nothing, okay, Maze drew, Papping won. Not too many other upsets by the look of things.
I should have had a slight upset. I was just pawn up.
Okay, sure. So, I mean, you're playing this on board 11. Ingor's playing against this guy from Turkey. Nice
he's
rating.
Ukrainian.
He's Ukrainian. Okay.
Yeah, but he's playing for Turkey.
Okay, so how was your game anyway? Do you want to quickly have a quick chat about it, or very just verbal chat?
It was. I just played the English opening and I think I got like thematic, perhaps slightly better.
Okay.
But I think he can always go for a draw. But instead he sacrificed a pawn, which I think was dubious. But
right.
But I failed to solve the only problem I think he gave me in the game and got into time trouble and blew it completely.
I mean,
still haven't had a chance to look at it, so I need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll move on to some of the games now, I think. I mean, I've been told by a number of strong players. I mean, we just look at another Icelandic guy you mentioned might have a norm chance. So,
maybe he has chances on IM norm. We talked about him a lot so far. So.
Okay. His rated performance is 24.10.
Yeah, so he hasn't lost yet. So.
Okay.
Draws against, but he's still playing now, so it depends on what he does against this
Spanish guy. So if he
2350 guy, yeah.
So if he wins that, he's in a great position.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's worth noting that I remember one strong grandmaster was told me that in chess tournaments, especially opens, nothing really matters until the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Which is if you're playing for the money. Obviously, that's not entirely true, but the last 2 rounds are certainly the most important rounds of any chess tournament. That will decide who wins first, who gets in the money, and who goes home crying with their head between their legs, should we say, which I've done many a time in a chess tournament. So, yeah, so it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, we just let's not focus on the upsets now. We had a lot of.
Well, should we have a look at this? Should we have a look at this game between Cheparinov and Caruana? So we're not going to spend too much time on the actual all the moves, but just the interesting points of some of these games. I mean, this is the biggest game of the round.
It was the Grunfeld defense.
And this is very popular, Grunfeld now, especially if you're trying to win with black pieces. And
now you imagine Cheparinov should be well prepared, being top of second.
He should be well prepared, yeah. I mean, he normally plays. Sorry, if we go back, he normally plays Bishop C4 here as a la Sokolov. So
Bishop B5. That's
okay.
It's not a common line.
Okay, well, it actually transposes to a line very similar to the Bishop C4 line, which used to be Bovnik's, I think, favourite choice, and a line I've also played quite often. And yeah, you normally get this position, but the Bishop on C4, don't you?
Yeah. Exactly.
So this is the only difference: the Bishop's on A4 instead of C4. And
yeah, two tempos to go to C4 and black played C6, C5. So yeah, that's the only difference.
So only difference. And does it make a big difference? Well, I mean, I guess
it's not attacking the bishop now.
It's not attacking the bishop, but look, often you put your bishop on D3 in these positions, and bishop could well be a bit better on D3, where you can support some F4, F5 kind of stuff. But okay, let's have a look. Well, I never liked this move that black played here. I'm sorry, that white played here, taken on C5. Might well be okay here. I mean, something like F4, you run in F4 is quite. Oh no, then knight C4. Okay, so.
Yeah, that's one point of not having the bishop on D3 now.
Yeah,
you lose control
actually,
of C4.
you do, don't you? Yeah, and if you don't really want to play a move like Queen D3, obviously, because that looks very odd, because you always run into. So maybe maybe taking here is correct, because you can try to place your bishop on D4 here.
Mm-hmm.
So Queen C7. Now the bishop came back to B3. Okay, White's won a pawn, but the problem is he's got some very weak C pawns. So if Black can ever win one of these C pawns back, then Black is going to clearly be better because of the other isolated C pawn.
Yeah, so he will have a better structure. So
positionally, White has to be very careful here. I mean, normally what White does, he actually, I mean, I'm not sure about F. Okay, F3 is all right, but normally I've seen White play stuff like Bishop D4 here, and then F4, and just try to get some attack on the king side going. That's quite a common idea. I don't know if that would have been possible here. I mean, Bishop D4, I guess Black would play E5. And I don't know if that helps White or not, because you're giving yourself a hold on D5, but you've lost the tempo. So okay, well, let's have a look how the game went. So we have some sensible moves. Queen B1 looks a bit odd, and now, well, after Bishop to F8, it's kind of becoming clear that Black's doing well here. I think because
he's gonna recover the pawn.
Recover the pawn, and then you're going to have the weak pawn on C3. So material has been restored. And okay, he doesn't even give up his defender of his king, the dark squared bishop. White goes for the attack, so Black swaps off this strong bishop, blocks things up. That seems like a very sensible choice. And I think it's 2 bishops as well. This light squared bishop can be very strong because it will hit E4. So Black has some kind of edge here, and it was actually quite interesting the way the game finished. Okay, all the pieces came off. And now, okay, if White doesn't grab the pawn on A7, he's just going to have a bad position without any comp. I think, because E4 is such a weak pawn, isn't it? It's so weak. And also, these bishops are going to work quite well, unless you can get your knight to D5. It's a long way away from that square.
Mm-hmm.
So he grabbed the pawn, B6, keeping the bishop out. And now this bishop was stuck out of the game, so White has some problems with his king now. And actually, White's position fell apart very quickly here. I mean, Rook, Queen A8, Queen A2 is played, and now, well, there goes one pawn.
Mm-hmm.
And some very strange moves now from White. I saw this. Okay, Black wants to keep the queens on. He played Bishop D8 now, which I just didn't understand this move. I mean, it doesn't really seem to achieve anything, but maybe his position is actually that bad. Maybe, I mean...
It just might be, I mean, 2 bishops, the pawns are coming as well.
I think it's game over. And look at these pieces, the queen on a7 and the bishop on b6, just completely out of the game, aren't they?
Probably it's already just close to lost.
This king's going to... Well, it's in a lot of trouble. Yeah. A lot of trouble. So, okay, so bishop d8, e4, and then queen d2, king g3. Now, queen takes e1 would have won a piece.
Yeah.
But instead, queen f4 is even stronger, I think. And, okay, white resigned because king h3, I think queen f5, and now something like g4, queen check. I don't know, let's say knight here, check, here, checkmate is going to happen, something like that. Maybe it's a quick way, maybe there's another line, but nice game though. Very nice game from Black, I think, yeah. So, yeah, impressive performance, and he's going to be a hard man to stop. It's quite. You're
seeing some, smooth Grunfeld ones.
Sorry?
Some smooth Grunfeld wins.
I know, yeah. There's been a fair few, haven't there? You know. So I mean, we've got to start taking this opening up, haven't we? You know. So I know Hannah said he bought a Grunfeld book this tournament, so he must have been impressed with some of the Grunfelds going on. It seems like a great way to play for a win as well against d4. Yeah. You know, because a lot of lines are very stable and quite boring, but it's very unbalanced, isn't it, the Grunfeld? So I think a good opening to play if you need to play for a win.
Yeah, it just felt like Caruana had it under control.
Played a very nice game, didn't he? Just outplayed his opponent, really. And that's not easy to do against Cheparinov, who's an incredibly strong grandmaster. Okay, so let's move on to another game, shall we? Okay, let's have a look. Shall we have a look at Hess versus Sokolov?
Yeah, a quick look.
Okay, so we have a quick look. There's just 1 or 2 moments in this game which were interesting. So, well, we both thought that Sokolov was in serious trouble in this game. I mean, he played some very odd moves, and around here...
Yeah, if you go back, just 2 moves, it's...
okay.
Bishop comes out, and then f3, bishop comes back to c8.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Knight c4, and the queen back to d8.
Yeah,
so
and you're kind of asking for f4 here, aren't you? Just to... and to me, this looks like a good positioning, because it resembles kind of Grand Prix classical Dutch position, where White's really got everything that you'd want with White, because you've got a better pawn structure with White, because of Black's queenside pawns, you've got better development, and you've got a strong centre as well, so it must be good. There was one nice little trick here, knight g4. Now, knight takes s7 looks quite tempting here, but I think bishop c5 check would have been a very strong move now. King here, then, or maybe queen check. I mean, this is interesting. I'm sure there's a reason why knight takes s7 doesn't work. The other option is maybe queen check here, and then castles.
Oh,
is that possible? Ooh, I don't know. Bit spicy. Not sure about that one, but don't know.
I think the audience likes it.
Yeah, the audience, the one person, our fan base.
I think we're not the only ones who tired today.
No, I think everyone's getting their well-earned sleep today. So, okay, but yeah, maybe that's dangerous. So, okay, let's move on to a little bit later on, because Sokolov kept playing some very strange moves. G5 now.
Looks risky.
I mean, I don't know if he was just going for it in this game. Maybe that he just thought, I'm going to take some risks.
I mean, he took the short throw in round 6,
so he probably wanted to play some proper game, but it just looks like he's overextended, if anything, here. Yeah. And here, actually, okay, well, White played queen to c3, but an interesting move that I was looking at the time was actually if White could have played knight to a5 here. This is kind of normal logical move, because at the moment you'd quite like to go d4. But then your knight's on pre, so let's move the knight, attack a pawn, and then go d4 next move, because the king's still in the centre. You've got some weaknesses. I just want to try to blow you away. D4, d5, d4, e5, this kind of stuff.
That's logical.
And also, if you go rook b8, you can't castle queenside as well. So I think knight a5 could have been okay. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought before. If Black can castle queenside, then he has the attack. And
that's right. Yeah, I mean, if he has to castle kingside, then g5 is going to be a weakness. So, so I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if this is possible or not. Maybe. I mean, it just looked interesting possibility, because I will go d4, and I mean, I'd always take White in this position. But actually, the game kind of petered out after e5. This is also quite logical, but Black just managed to hold the balance here. With
oops.
So that was queen g5, and lots of pieces came off, and White decided to take a draw here just by repeating, which is kind of fair enough here. There's not actually too much going on here anymore, is there? So you have to take on, I think it's fairly even. Yeah. So they're both in with shouts. Sokolov's still in a good position, and Sokolov's going to have white tomorrow. I mean, if we just quickly go back to the tournament scores very briefly, and okay, well, Ivan is on 6 points, so...
Are you sure? I think Caruana will play white. I think so.
Oh, okay, yeah, Caruana might have white against Sokolov.
Right. So he always shoots his colours, I think.
But if you've got more points than your opponent, you keep your colours as well, don't you? I mean, what's going to be clear is that Caruana's playing Sokolov. I think that's full, whatever Gawain does, because Gawain's already played Caruana if Gawain manages to win. Yeah. And that is probably going to be, well, obviously Gawain's up there in the mix as well, but tomorrow's going to be very interesting because we know Ivan can win. He beat Navarra with the black pieces earlier on, and he's playing very well here. And the game starts later on, so he can have his glass of wine tonight. He can chill out and he can go for the win, relax with his red wine. So I think he'd be, that would be very interesting, And we know it's quite interesting. He has no fear of anyone, does he? No. Quite the opposite, actually.
He always thinks he's going to crush everybody.
Always thinks he's going to crush everyone. And the thing is, often he does crush everyone. So he's allowed to think that because he's a very strong player. He crushed me earlier in the tournament, made me look like a complete bunny. Well, that's going to be very interesting pairing. Okay, well, I haven't looked at the latest of Gawain's game, but if we quickly jump into this, because it's very interesting. Gawain can win this. He has a great chance to win this tournament still as well. This is Gawain Jones versus Avruch, and the last position we had up on the board, okay, then we'll have a look at Bray's game quickly, was after Gawain played some very odd moves. So I'll just go through the moves quickly. This is reaching the end part of the game. Gawain was black against Avruch, and around...
white.
Sorry, Gawain. Yeah, sorry, Gawain was white against Avruch, and around here he's a pawn up, and it looked like he had a very good winning chances. And around here he played a very odd move. Not the move I'd like to play. I've just tried to play something like King E2 and slowly if I can, because G4 is a move. I have to be honest, I don't really understand. I don't understand this move, but this is very obviously he's going for the win because this is double-edged move,
Either it's weird or extremely deep.
It's weird or brilliant, one of the two. So yeah, it looks like it loses the pawn to me. Don't ask the commentators questions like that. What's the purpose of this move? Am I supposed to answer that? Ridiculous is a good. It looks ridiculous, doesn't it? I mean, do you want me to try to explain it? I guess one.
Totally disgusting.
I don't understand it, I'll be honest. I mean, it's maybe very clever. I suppose in some endings, if you can take this pawn back and this H pawn could become a queen. I mean, let's have a look. He takes this, but now his next move, I don't understand this next move either. All I'm thinking, maybe he wants to get the rooks off. If he can swap a pair of rooks off, then he can take this pawn with his king, and then go King G5, H6. But I don't understand it. I'll be honest. I don't see why he has to play like this if there's a better. And now he goes Rook B5, and then the last position we had was after Knight B6. I don't know if there's been any more moves played here, but you've moved your Rook from the active B7 square to B5. Very odd. Actually, I think he played Rook C3 here. There's one more move. And maybe this was the point there. He wants to go Rook C3 check, swap the rooks off, put the knight on B5, then he win the G4 pawn back. Maybe, and he might win the pawn on F7. I mean, that's my guess. I mean, white's still clearly better here, and he's pushing for the win.
Yeah, the knight can jump. Yeah, C3, B5.
Knights can jump. Yep.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah,
jump.
that's good. They're tricky things, as Sokolov told us. Yeah.
It's a tricky thing because they can jump.
I think this is what Sokolov said about his first game. He lost the exchange. He didn't sacrifice it, but he said, "Oh, it's okay. Knights are tricky pieces. They can jump." And my opponent, he didn't realise they jump, and something along those lines, should I say?
Yeah, so we looked at it in the first broadcast. He could have won the exchange back, and we talked about it. And he said, "No, I didn't want to because
I want to keep my knight. They're tricky pieces."
There have been about 15 more moves played in that game.
15, okay. Okay, well, we won't get up to speed there because I think it's a bit hard. We may be trying in a minute, but first of all, we'll have a look at Bray's game just because I think he's obviously performing one of the strongest Icelandic players. He's probably got the top score out of anyone from Iceland at the moment, and he's got very good GM norm chances. And he's playing to 26.66, so he's having a great tournament. Let's not spend too long on it. But there was an interesting moment. Bray was white, and it was the Bloomfield Gambit. And earlier in
you had one Bloomfield Gambit.
I had, yeah. My opponent played H6 here, but D6 is more main line really. Then this tends to be quite comfortable for white, but nothing too serious. The black kind of thing, It's just a.
It's got this knight. Nice knight on c4.
Yeah, very pleasant knight, but.
Black has the black squared bishop.
Yeah, but it hasn't really got any targets. The dark squared bishop here, because it may be hitting b2, but it's not really that much of a. I mean, the knight on c4 clearly is better than this bishop. Definitely. So white should probably have something small here, some small advantage. Now, guess what move I play here? Have a guess.
H4.
H4, yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go for it. So H4 would have been winning, but
it's winning by force.
By force, of course. And this is the kind of I mean, the way he played it is obviously much more sensible. This H4 is interesting because you got this battery along here, and you want to do a bit of Viking pillaging and etc.
It's the obvious blitz move.
It's the obvious blitz move. That's right. Yeah. And if you go H5, do we get it in there? Throw it in. Maybe.
In blitz.
Yeah. But okay. But as he's doing well and he's going for a GM norm, he just castles. Much more sensible.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's getting a GM norm and we're all depressed down here.
That could be true. Yeah. Probably why. It's quite because I mean someone was mentioning like Bjorn and Bray, and Bjorn's obviously a very talented player. Not having the best of tournaments, but Bjorn has quite a different style to Bray. He's kind of hot and cold, isn't he? I think that's fair to say. He can play brilliant tactical games, and he's probably 2600 strength in tactics, but he probably just needs to calm down sometimes as well. So
yeah, he's one of the most brilliant tacticians I know.
Yeah, he's a great tactician, but I think he also, just to get that GM title, he might need to either change his repertoire or maybe just just try to keep it solid,
Just like we were talking about Gawain, you said he's improving a lot and used to be...
Well, he used to be known for his tactics, but Gawain now, as we can see against Averick, plays moves like G4, so, which I don't understand.
We'll see how it works.
If he loses the game, then we understand, but I hope he doesn't lose, obviously. Okay, so the game now went on, knight e5, and now white got some kind of initiative here by using the central pawns. Bishop d4, and now s6, trying to stop e5.
Yeah, because e5 is
you can't play.
Obvious plan for white.
Yeah,
so
and here Bray played it anyway.
Okay.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have gone rook e1 and tried to pair this move, but why not play it if you can play it? And so the good thing is he's taking the game to his opponents. That's what I like. A lot of these strong opponents he's playing, 2600 plus. He's the one who's been pushing.
Yeah.
It hasn't been his opponents. It's been Bray. He's going for it, and that's that's a good attitude to have. And the point behind this tactical skirmish is that now he has bishop takes g6. Now, taking this bishop, I'm assuming, is suicide. Let's have a quick look.
It's at least
a draw, but I think we can win the queen at least, and then we just win the queen. So, instead, black's got to bring some pieces around to defend, so rook a7 was played, and now, actually, well, things petered out really quickly after h3, h6, bishop c4, and, well, the black king's very weak. And the problem is, even if the queens come off, black always has this problem with the a6 pawn as a weakness.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think...
so white can put some pressure on the a6 pawn with queen d3, but then d5 is always
weak, yeah. So. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could...
And both kings are weak, so...
I think a draw is a fair result. And actually, I mean, here, black decided to force a draw by petrol check. So again, black was the one who was trying to force the draw there. It wasn't actually Bray.
Yeah.
So impressive play by Bray, and he's on great form. And I hope he gets the GM norm, unless he plays me. And then I'll happily... Well, no, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, no. So Bray in a great chance of getting a GM norm. Best of luck with last 2 rounds. Let's hope he can achieve some good finish here. And
maybe we'll talk more tomorrow about norm chances, because they will
last
be more
2 rounds. Yeah, tomorrow. What happens? Yeah. And okay, we won't come back to Gawain's game because I can't find it. Oh, something's happened there. I'll have a quick look, see if I can get it up. Shall I? Okay.
Can we? Talking to my colleague. Can we?
I don't know if you're seeing. Okay. Wow.
Okay, so...
Wow, okay, well just looking at the position...
Oh, you got the position?
I had the position there. There's only one pawn left on the board in Gawain's game, and it's not Gawain's pawn. So this G4 did just lose a pawn. Wow, what's happened? Why did he play G4? Poor guy.
Okay, it's not interesting.
Well, I think he's going to lose this, yeah?
Game is finished.
I think Gawain could lose this game. He's got 2 minutes left. Oh dear,
that
Gawain.
Would be horrible if he loses.
Oh, I hope not. I really hope he doesn't lose this game, but it's a rook's pawn. And these rook's pawns are notoriously difficult to stop.
Should we get this position on the board?
I don't know if you can see this position at home. Is this,
I'll just put it on the board.
Okay, okay. We'll have a quick look at Gawain's game, but it's mate in 25.
Wow.
According to table base, right? Okay. Well, oh dear. I think Gawain might be needing a drink tonight. Well, that's really upsetting for Gawain because he was clearly the one pushing, but then he played this rather. I mean, he's one reason he's got so strong recently, Gawain, is because he's calmed down a lot and he hasn't gone crazy. And it seemed like maybe he went crazy again by playing his G4 move. I don't like G4. I mean, well, you're taking too many risks. You're a pawn up. You don't need to take risks. And well, this is the position we currently have. Somehow we got this position.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how, but
yeah,
I mean,
to go back to what we had.
I mean, yeah, if you look at it, I mean, this G4 move is suicidal, isn't it? I mean, if you go back before Gawain played this position.
Yeah, this one.
I mean, why play G4 here? This is where Gawain played G4, and I think, I mean, let's say I go King E2. I don't want to rush. I mean, I want to go King D3. I want to go Knight C3, and then I just want to start taking your pawns. My rook's perfect. I don't need to move my rook. I need to get these two pieces active. Why don't I just go King E2? I don't understand. Why play G4? I mean, G4, that's like the old Gawain, maybe. You know, Gawain would normally play something brilliant. It could have been a brilliant idea, but it's very risky to play in this manner. You know, you're taking far too many risks. I think King E2 just play. And if we look at the position now, how do I get this position? But
still we didn't have...
Well, I think this is losing.
We didn't see 13 moves, so we really don't know what happened, but maybe...
They both got 2 minutes left, so an interesting finish. But the problem with this position is that Black has the rook's pawn. And Avrook is a renowned expert in endings, openings, a very good technical player. And this rook's pawn in a knight ending is very hard to stop. I think it should be a technical win. I mean, he might be able to salvage a draw, especially as it's short on time. He's a brilliant blitz player, Gawain. If he gets a draw, it's not the end of the world, but if he loses this, he's going to be very upset. So we better catch up on that tomorrow anyway. I think it's time we got some well-deserved rest, or even maybe a well-deserved pint. I don't know, one of the two. One of the two. We need some rest for a pint, and we'll come back with activity tomorrow. I think it's 4:30 start tomorrow, the games, I believe. I think so probably normal time for commentary.
Yeah, I think
it's 4:30 and the last round starts earlier. So
commentary will be same time as tonight.
9 o'clock tomorrow, okay. And obviously only 2 rounds to go, so keep tuned. We'll get up to date and we'll see who wins this tournament soon. So thanks for watching today. This is Simon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And see you soon.